Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And look, its red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, land of the free, and the home of the
Excellent job from the Blackwood Film Quartet. Let's give them a round of applause and thank you, sir.
This is Post 22 Extra from Fitzgerald Stadium. This is Tom Rudebusch along with the head coach of Post 22, Mitch Messer. And Mitch, we're well into the season now. Give us a little coach's evaluation of the team so far.
Well, so far we've seen a lot of good things. I would definitely say we're much better now than what we were at the beginning of the season. We've had some ups and downs, which are natural throughout a season. So overall, we're on track.
You know, you've had a couple of individuals who I think have played very well to start the season. Let's start with Jacob James, and tell us a little bit about his game. And he's hitting, leading the team in hitting, on-base percentage, hits, runs scored.
Yeah, it's really no secret with Jacob. If you were to look over the batting cages right now, he's probably sitting on a tee and getting extra swings in. So he works hard. He worked hard in the off season. Not only on his specific baseball skill sets, but he's worked hard with Scott Benson to become a better athlete. For example, he's shaved 0.6 of a second off of his 60 time, and it's showing in his stealing statistics as well. So he's off to a good start. Hopefully he can continue.
If you had to pick out maybe one or two players that have shown the greatest improvement since the spring training all the way through the first 30-some games here of the season, who might you pick out?
John Zastro. John has continued to get better on the mound with every start, and we put him in some pretty difficult situations, and he's come through and he's held his composure. So, it's a tough position to be in as a 16-year-old pitcher on this staff, to be thrown against the Cherry Creeks and teams like that, and he's done that, had success, and he's done it with composure. So he continues to improve.
Is there a certain pitch that he's really improved on, or a combination of pitches?
No, and in fact, next year and in the offseason, he's really got to work on his third pitch, the changeup. He's using it a bit now. He's just not as consistent with it as he wants to be. So at this point, he's fastball curve, but what makes John so effective is that he locates really well, and his velocity continues to increase, so that's helping him.
Talk about the attitude of the team, because when I've been around them, it seems like they're a group that likes to play the game. They want to be good, but still a coach has to kind of keep that, I don't want to use the word whip because that's way too, but you have to make sure you guide them along to improvement.
Oh, sure. I mean, we're talking about 16 to 18-year-old kids, and for the most part, this group is really great. They get along well, they work hard. If there's any tweaking or adjustments that we do at this point, it's from the mental side. And, baseball, just between the diamonds, the game itself is difficult enough. You start throwing in some of the mental things that you deal with throughout that grind, it makes it tough. So we're just constantly tweaking, making sure everybody's in the right mindset, and of course it doesn't always work, and sometimes the best way to learn a lesson is the hard way.
I know that. You know, you had that trip, took you to Cheyenne, then to Denver. You were gone, I think, as a team together for 11 days or something like that. That must do a lot, especially early in the season, to really kind of bring a team together. You're with each other constantly, and you learn a lot about your teammates.
Oh yeah, you learn a lot about your teammates. You learn a lot about yourself. You know, you're stuck in a hotel room on some days all by yourself, or with 4 other guys, depending on how the road trip's going. So, yeah, you know, that's just it. And heading into that road trip, we weren't sure where we were at as a ball club or as a team, but this group gets along pretty well, and they stepped up to the challenge.
Of course, the highlight of the season is always the big Firecracker Tournament, again sponsored this year by the Liberty Superstores. And you have Coon Rapids coming in, you have a team Rocky Mountain out of Colorado along with Boulder, you have Eden Prairie out of the Twin Cities coming in, Las Vegas, West Warwick, Rhode Island, Missoula, Montana, another elite field. And talk about putting a tournament like this together and exactly how you get that accomplished.
Well, at this point, the tournament is pretty well established, and you know, the Las Vegas, the Eden Prairies, and the Missoulas, those are teams that are staples of this tournament, and they want to come back every year. So that's easy. Every year, it's, you know, you want to fill in with a couple additional teams. This year, I think it's the same field as we had last year. We did add Rocky Mountain. Vermont dropped out. Rocky Mountain's got a good ball club. We saw them in Cheyenne. Eden Prairie, of course, is the defending World Series champions. Coon Rapids has got a left-handed pitcher by the name of Logan Shore, who's awful tough. He'll be a top 5 rounder by the time he's a senior. So there's some good talent. Vegas Durango's up. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun.
Eden Prairie right there, the national champions, you know, and you'll play at their field up in the Gopher Classic in the middle of July, so that's going to be a tournament to look forward to. Mitch, when you decide to go to a tournament as a coach that goes out of town, you take your team, what do you look for in a tournament?
Yeah, the other teams. We want to see who else is there. We want to make sure it's a competitive tournament, and we want to make sure we're being challenged. And you know, and some of the pitching. You know, for example, it's hopefully we have the opportunity to see the Logan Shore kid out of Coon Rapids. You know, that's a big draw. So when we're looking at other tournaments, we want to see who else is there, and then you kind of got to keep your ear open in terms of, you know, what each team's got for individual players and pitching, and you want to seek out the best players.
What's the word so far here? It's still early in the season, still half the season to go, but in South Dakota, Sioux Falls East and Sioux Falls West sure look pretty good here in the Rich Hinseth tournament, so it looks like those are going to be 2 teams that we'll have to beat out.
Well, East came in here on Thursday and kicked our butt, so you know, they look strong. They got 3 athletes on that ball club with Schultz, Schaefbauer, and Hander that are, you know, some of the better athletes in the state, and they're good. They're tough. So we're going to have to continue to improve if we're going to have the season we want.
And as the season goes on, the tournaments get a little bit tougher and tougher and tougher. So on the Firecracker, what would be the, outside of winning all the games, what do you really want to see again out of your team?
Well, gosh, I'd like to see somebody other than Eden Prairie and Missoula in the championship game, and hopefully us. So you know, again, this is a process and it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. So as long as we continue to get better, the goal again is August. You know, if we can continue to get better each game, then we'll be on track, and we'll be just fine.
Firecracker Tournament starts on Friday, June 29th. It runs through July 4th. They'll have the championship game and the placement games on July 4th, all again sponsored by the friends at Liberty Superstores, who have been able to sponsor this tournament now for many, many years, and a big thank you goes out to Liberty. Any final thoughts, Mitch?
No, we're excited about where we're at, and we're excited with what we've got in front of us. So we just got to take it one day at a time, 200 feet at a time, and live in the present moment, not get wrapped up in the past or get too far ahead of ourselves. So
we'll return with Post 22 Extra from Fitzgerald Stadium, thanks to Mitch Messer, and we'll be back in just a moment. Tom Rudebusch back with Post 22 Extra here on Black Hills Television, and Greg Schaefer has joined us, the center fielder for Post 22, who's having a great season. Greg leading the team in triples, leads the team in RBIs, and is hitting very well, playing a very good defensive center field. And Greg, you kind of went through some injury problems last year. You seem to be healthy, and it seems like you're enjoying this season.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, last year I had the hip flexor problem, and this year I'm still struggling with it a little bit, but it's a lot better. And so yeah.
What has motivated you to play baseball? Do you remember the first time you picked up a ball or a bat and played the game?
I don't quite remember the first time, but I don't know. Whenever I was younger, I still remember I hit my first home run in T-ball, and I thought that was really cool. And so I think that's what, like, the first real experience that I really enjoyed about baseball.
Did you play other sports?
Yeah, I played soccer, basketball, football for a little while, and now I just stuck with basketball and baseball.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your game. Like I said, I've laid out some of the statistics. You're having a great year. It's fun to watch you play too. What would you like to improve on?
What I'd like to improve on would be like my base running. I'd like to be a little bit more aggressive when I'm on first and steal second. And when I'm on second, I'd like to be able to steal third a little bit too. Like Jacob James, he's an excellent base runner, and I'd like to be more like him. So.
You know, when you're playing center field, you usually have Jacob in left field and Ryan Lee's in right field most of the time. And you, as I said, play a good defensive center fielder. What's the key to being a good center fielder? What must quick start?
Oh yeah, definitely being able to see the ball right off the bat, then reacting just like that. That'd probably be the biggest key about being a good center fielder.
So do you give Jacob James any advice when he's out there in left field? Do you try to make sure he's in the right position?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
No, he's usually in the right spot. Sometimes when we're playing a team that isn't, like they like to hit line drives and not deep bombs, sometimes I tell him to move up. But other than that, James, he's a great outfielder, so he knows what he's doing.
How about team-wise? How do you feel the team is playing?
You know, at the beginning of the season we were playing really well. Then we had this stretch where I think we lost about like 5 games in a row or something like that. But other than that, I think we're having a pretty good year. And then now I think we're going to turn it around and start winning some more ball games again.
Do you set any goals for yourself before the start of the season?
Yeah. One of my goals was to try and be a leader, and then try and be a good offensive and defensive player as well. So.
Well, Greg, you're having a great season. Let's hope it continues. I have a feeling it will. Greg Schaefer, the center fielder for Post 22, will return and wrap things up here from Fitzgerald Stadium. It's Post 22 Extra. Back here at Fitzgerald Stadium, a reminder that the Firecracker Tournament again begins on Friday, June 29th and runs through Wednesday, July 4th when they have all the placement games. And don't forget that all the games of the Firecracker for Post 22 on radio, as we'll have the games on the Hills 97.5 FM. And you can listen on the internet at www.hills975.com. So we'll have all the games of the Firecracker, other games, and don't forget we'll have all the games in postseason tournament play also. And a big thank you once again to Liberty Jeep Superstores for sponsoring the Firecracker Tournament. And our thanks to Mitch Messer, head coach of Post 22, and the center fielder Greg Schaefer for joining us today. Until next time, this is Tom Rudebusch. You've been watching Post 22 Extra.